The Vorthak fleet descended upon the human colony of New Meridian like a metallic storm, their obsidian warships blotting out the twin suns. Commander Zexhai observed the bombardment from his flagship's bridge, his four eyes gleaming with satisfaction as the settlement's defenses crumbled beneath their plasma cannons. "Target the evacuation shuttles," he ordered, his mandibles clicking with cruel precision. "Leave nothing alive." For 3 days, the Vorthak methodically eliminated every trace of human presence on the planet's surface. Their bioscanners swept the ruins repeatedly, confirming zero life signs. The extermination was complete, or so they believed. Deep beneath the colony's industrial sector, Lieutenant Sarah Chen lay trapped in the collapsed ruins of a mining facility. Her left leg was pinned beneath twisted metal, her suit's life support systems barely functional. The Vorthak scanners couldn't penetrate the dense ore deposits surrounding her makeshift shelter, leaving her as the sole survivor of New Meridian's 7,000 colonists. For 48 hours, Chen remained motionless, listening to the alien voices above as they conducted their final sweep. When the sounds finally faded and the ground stopped trembling from departing ships, she began the agonizing process of freeing herself. Using a piece of shattered pipe as a lever, she slowly shifted the debris pinning her leg. The bone was fractured, but her suit's medical systems administered what painkillers remained. Chen fashioned a crude splint from salvaged materials and began her journey through the underground tunnel network. The mining colony's subsurface infrastructure had been designed to withstand seismic activity, and much of it remained intact despite the bombardment above. Chen made her way through maintenance corridors and service tunnels, her helmet's failing light barely illuminating the path ahead. 3 days later, she reached the mining facility's central hub, where the colony's primary communication array had once stood. The surface installation was destroyed, but the emergency quantum transmitter remained buried 50 meters below ground, designed to survive even planetary bombardment. Chen's engineering background proved invaluable as she worked to restore power to the transmitter. The fusion cells were damaged but functional, providing just enough energy for a single burst transmission. She composed her message carefully, knowing she had only one chance to warn Earth about the Vorthak threat. As the transmission uploaded, Chen detected movement on her motion sensors. The Vorthak had returned, drawn by the energy signature. Their scanning equipment couldn't pinpoint her exact location through the ore deposits, but they knew something was alive down there. She had perhaps an hour before they breached the tunnels. Chen limped through the facility's storage areas, gathering everything she could use as weapons or tools. The miners had used industrial plasma cutters, chemical explosives, and heavy machinery, all of which became components in her desperate plan. The Vorthak entry team consisted of 6 soldiers in powered armor, their insectoid forms perfectly adapted for underground warfare. They moved through the tunnels with practiced efficiency, following the energy traces toward Chen's location. They found her in the main excavation chamber, a vast underground cavern where the miners had extracted rare minerals. She stood alone in the center, her damaged suit barely keeping her alive, clutching a mining charge detonator. "Human," the lead Vorthak soldier spoke through his translator, his voice echoing metallically in the chamber. "You have shown remarkable tenacity. Join your species in extinction with dignity." Chen's response was a bitter laugh. "You made one mistake," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the cavern's acoustics. "You should have made sure I was dead before you celebrated," the Vorthak leader gestured dismissively. "One wounded human against 6 trained warriors? You delay the inevitable." "Not just one human," Chen replied, pressing the detonator's activation sequence. "One human with nothing left to lose and access to enough mining explosives to bring down this entire mountain." The Vorthak soldiers raised their weapons, but Chen's finger was already moving. The detonator's display showed 15 seconds to detonation, enough time for her final words to reach them. "My message got through," she said, her voice steady, despite the pain and exhaustion. "Earth knows you're coming now. And when humanity comes for you, remember this moment. Remember that your perfect extermination failed because you underestimated what one human could do when you murdered everyone she loved." The explosion vaporized the chamber and everything in it, bringing down 3 square kilometers of mountainside above. The Vorthak ships detected the seismic event, but found no survivors in their subsequent scan. 6 months later, the Terran Defense Fleet intercepted the Vorthak Armada at the edge of the solar system. The battle was swift and decisive. Humanity had used Chen's warning to prepare defenses the aliens couldn't penetrate. Advanced weapons, new shield technologies, and tactical innovations born from desperate necessity turned the would-be conquerors into scattered debris. In the aftermath, Admiral Harrison stood on the bridge of the TDF flagship, reading the after-action reports. The Vorthak had been utterly defeated, their surviving forces in full retreat toward the galactic rim. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're receiving a priority message from the Colonial Memorial Service on New Meridian's restored surface." Harrison nodded, watching the reconstruction efforts through the viewport. New settlements were rising from the ashes, and the mining operations had resumed under heavy military protection. "They're dedicating the central monument today," the officer continued. The inscription reads, "To Lieutenant Sarah Chen and the 7,000 souls of New Meridian. They tried to silence us all, but left one voice to warn the stars." Harrison smiled grimly. The Vorthak had learned too late what every enemy of humanity eventually discovered. Humans were most dangerous when they had nothing left to lose, and most united when someone threatened their own. The memorial stood as a testament to that truth, visible from orbit. A reminder that the enemy's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating human technology or tactics. They had underestimated the human spirit itself.